and this is Divine Sunshine. Welcome to my first introductory class for my course. It's a 7-week course that's called the Seven Deadly Sins. I'm excited about bringing this to you because it is going to help you and lead you in the way in which sins, first of all, the spirit and my spiritual guides led me to do this course because they said that I need to kind of help us understanding how we are missing the mark in these seven areas, which is deadly sins. These are things in ways that we are supposed to go a certain way. However, these seven deadly sins kind of leads us astray. And so in order for us to know how to stay on course, to stay in the flow, I developed this course to help us understand how we are actually not doing, missing the mark, little things that we're surprised. Hey, that my little co-host, that we don't know that we're actually doing. And so they're blowing the tune of the horn in the background and say, yay! Actually, so I'm really excited about it. This course is for 7 weeks. I have posted in the community tab where you can get the course because today is free. And after this, every Sunday, I'm doing a class on Zoom for 2 hours. The first hour is going to be about instruction. And the second hour is going to be us this Q&A and this chatting and talking about the topic and sharing our own kind of life experiences and things in which will help to enrich more resources. Hey, Wavo, beautiful warrior. Hey, Benita. To help us really, truly understand, how we've been doing it actually and applying it to our life in our own lives. And so it's going to be $50 if you go to my community tab. I already put it there. If you also at the end, I'll put it down in the comments. If you come back to this, I'll put the code down. And so I'm going to knock it down to $50 because, hey, Lauren, hey, Staffy, I understand that it is Christmas time. And so I said, I'll knock it down. I've been instructed to $12.15. And then after $12.15, it's going to go up to the regular price, which will be $124, unless Spirit instructs me to do it a little bit more or less then. Okay, so I want to go right on into it because I know I'm going to add in and ad lib some extra stuff into what's going on. But then at the same time, I want to get everything in. Okay. All right then. So I know this has like a new way of doing it. I think I'm going to do it sideways. No, this is the way I'm going to do it. Okay. Because I'm scared. I don't know if the other way, if I do it where I'm behind the scenes, picture in the picture. Now, do I want to do it that way? No, it blocks too much stuff. Okay, so here we go. So the seven deadly sins of twin flames. This is a soul psychotherapy. Hey, Benita, you need to come get your dogs. Come get your furry nieces. They were so nice and gentle with you last night. Tonight, they're like, But anyway, the seven deadly sins of twin flames, a soul psychotherapy series that answers what keeps divines in separation. And so, I'm ready to go to the next, or you do it like this. Okay, this is new for me. I got to get used to it. So a lot of times, why I developed this course is because we want to know and understand why can't we get into union? So some things is why we can't get into union. Hey, why we can't get into union is why aren't we with our person? Why can't I get it together? Why am I still experiencing the same things? Why can't I pass spiritual union into physical union with my person? And why is my abundance blocked? And why can't I get over the past? Now, let me see. If I do it this way, are you still able to hear me? Let me do it this way. Are you still able to hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up if I can. Can you still hear me when I do it this way? Or you can't hear me? I'll wait. Can somebody give me the other say, yes, I can still hear you? Okay, good. All right, then. So why can't I get in here? So those are some of the questions that we ask ourselves a lot of times. Why can't we? So the answer is, while I was watching a video of a well-known twin flame advisor, the answer came real clear from what this person stated, which was, it is important for twin flames to gain mastery of the 7 deadly sins as humans. So what's our sole purpose? So as divines, our sole purpose is to turn back to being sovereign beings. We have to find a balance with our soul that keeps us in all its well state. At times in life, we learn wrong patterns, bad coping mechanisms, and behaviors that goes against who we truly are as divines. This causes not only a separation with our person, but also a separation with source. In addition, it causes an off balance in our equilibrium with staying in flow with our own energies. Rather divine feminine or divine masculine, we should be in even flow between the two. Sometimes, depending on the situation, we might find ourselves using more than the other, yet there is a counterbalance to its usage. However, when trauma occurs, our difficulties affect us, which will then allow for one energy to dominate the other. That energy takes over the driver's seat, while the other energy is either put in the passenger seat or placed in the back seat. So sometimes we may even leave the energy on the side of the road, depending on how traumatic the situation is. So feelings as if the feelings made you feel insecure. And so then some kind of way, and they got in the way. And so you wanted to be in your rightful power. So you pretty much would dominate, say, oh, I'm going to go back to divine masculine energies because this feels right. But I'm not going to venture out to be in the divine feminine energies. Or you might say, I'll be in divine feminine energies, but I won't resonate into my divine masculine because of the trauma. Not knowing that it's, things, again, people like to stay with the devil that they know. Okay. And instead of them venturing out of that causes an issue. Okay. So don't feel bad. Like I said, at the end of the day, I've done it. I've been guilty myself as well about that as well. So now it's time to get into flow. So once you realize that something isn't right, it is time to get back into the flow. Times like this, it calls for us, which is important because we got to keep it real with ourselves. We got to be raw with ourselves. And let me see, can I move this over? Because he's in the way. No, okay. And this process will help us to stop the conflict of the two energies flowing within us. So a lot of times if we're not real and raw and honest, we'll stay stagnated in that one energy instead of us venturing out of ourselves, our comfort zone, and trying other energies. Okay, so we need to use the laminar flow. So in this course, I will constantly go back and refer to the laminar flow because this is about how energy flows and how we can stay in the conscious of easy flow to where it becomes stops and it becomes in a situation in which it kind of stops it and then it goes into turbulence. So the pattern ourselves after the laminar flow is essential in stopping us from being in separation for our highest good. Because what is the laminar flow? Laminar flow is a type of flow pattern of a fluid in which all the particles are flowing in parallel lines, opposed to turbulent flow, where the particles flow in random and chaotic directions. So we as humans are 75% water. It makes sense that we use this patterning to understand how to stay in flow with energies within and so without. So laminar flow has a wide range of real life applications. A type of laminar flow is achieved every day by pilots. A smooth flight occurs when the flow of the air over an aircraft's wings is laminar. If the pilot runs into a very turbulent patch of air, the wing cannot correct the air to make it laminar, causing turbulence. A different example of laminar flow occurs every day inside of you. Blood flowing through your body is flowing laminarly. So one last example of laminar flow is syrup or honey flowing out the nozzle because the liquid is so thick and viscous that it holds a number Reynolds number indicates that the flow is very laminar. So laminar flow versus turbulence. So what is the difference between laminar and turbulence? Turbulence flow can be caused by restriction in an installation, such as the valves or adapters, in combination with a high velocity of the use of fluid. The effect is known as turbulence effect. A turbulent flow can affect the accuracy of our measurement, something you would like to prevent, while laminar is a steady stream and parallel line. If the speed of the water increases, a sudden change will occur at a certain speed. The flow completely disrupts and the water turns homogeneous through the ink, and the streamlines are chaotic, not linear anymore, which is called turbulent flow. Now, so how do we use it as twin flames? So a flow is either turbulent, laminar, or somewhere in between. On this journey, when dealing with the divine feminine and the divine masculine energies in the physical, we tend to lean toward the flow of turbulence. Okay, this is through patterns learned from our parents, experiences, and connections to trauma. Laminar flow is measured by the Reynolds number, which is a ratio between velocity, the speed of the flow, and viscosity, how thick or thin the fluid is. Meaning, in divine terms, the more invested in a belief or an idea that you are in also determines the speed of your flow. Okay, so the more viscous or thick the fluid is, the faster it can flow without going turbulent. So the more heavily invested you are in a thing, rather good nor bad, will be met with least resistance because you have already spiritually determined your destination and the direction by aligning to the very thing which identifies how fast you will manifest that desire. Yet, you would like to use viscosity to your advantage in more positive ways. So the more grounded you are in the belief, the least likely you will be met with opposition, spiritually or physically. Simply put, it is laminar flow, is union flow, okay, or union energy. So what does this have to do with my soul's purpose? When turbulence occurs in our souls, rather it be too many restrictions we put on ourselves or allow others to put on us, such as labels, disbeliefs, ideologies, philosophies, past hurts, experiences, past life experiences, traumas, just living in general, restricts us. It stops the flow of our sovereignty. It stops even the flow of the two energies of our chi, yin and yang. These polar opposites, defined as positive and negatives, yet are very much needed for our soul's growth. In having union, it is important that you always remain in flow, moving in one direction, noticing the transitions, the turbulence that occurs to move back into the laminar flow, which leads you back to home. Your soul is your main focus on your journey to divinity. Okay, so now let's talk very quickly about what this program helps you to do. So in this course that we have here, it helps to prevent the restrictions such as people, belief systems, and connections. Because as we visit each one of the seven sins, again, how the way we miss the mark and we get off track and not moving towards what we're destined to do, this program, by visiting each one, is going to help to prevent that. It's also stopping the limiting of the speed. So we know we want to, the frequency that we have, that we resonate, we want to kind of keep that flow going in a positive direction in the way that we want for things to open up, for new opportunities. And by us checking the way that we are misusing or falling into these traps that these seven sins come up, it's going to help limit those things. Are those they're almost like speed bumps that we're hitting when we're on those hitting those seven deadly sins. And then it's also going to filter your flow. Like, okay, hey, I feel myself getting into anger, or I feel myself getting into a little envy. Let me kind of check that so I can be able to get myself back into the flow. Because when you enter these sins heavily, you'll see how it kind of stops you from being to manifest or being in a union or being in connection with your person. Okay, so it all boils down to you. The success of taking this course depends very much on the application and what is the consequences, such as separations are of the turbulences, which is conflict we experience on journey. with people, beliefs, and connections. Being in chaos is not what we want at this point on our journey or adventure. We want a stable flow between our energies is essential. So the seven deadly sins for of twin flames course will help you see ways you are missing the mark and not being in flow or union. Each sin addressed in this course, this class, if you choose to take it, will help you to understand its general meaning in your life, the spiritual influence in your soul's journey, twin flame slant of the sin, what chakra is associated with, strategies to overcome the sin, and connection to childhood wounds, and how you can be your energy is dominated by the sin that keeps you out of flow. So, what are the seven deadly sins? So, we see here we got pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Tonight, we're going to focus in on pride. Okay, so the seven deadly sins are those transgressions which are fatal to spiritual progress. And this is why I wanted and Spirit had brought it to my attention to go over the seven deadly sins, because when I seen that it's spiritual, it's a fatal to spiritual progress. When we bump into these sins, it is, again, missing the mark. And I know a lot of people is like, because you got that religious slant to it when we're talking about sin. But I'm not talking about sin from the religious standpoint. I'm talking about sin as far as us spiritually and how we keep on bumping heads and not having any kind of breakthroughs. And it's mainly some of these things is because of these seven areas. Okay, people have always been immortal or shiftless, means lazy, okay, and self-gratifying. It's all about me. But for ages, humankind struggled to find a conceptual system to operationalize their spiritual shortcomings. Thus, we need to reprogram the subconscious to stop aligning with the struggle. Sins are also ancestral. That's another reason why we need to kind of handle that too. And many of the patterning is ingrained in our spiritual DNA or junk DNA. As a result, we are also clearing ancestral clearing of timelines in which our ancestors have missed the mark or has chosen the wrong path, affecting generations afterwards. So the seven deadly sins are things that keep us human, but lay a path to helping us be divine. Simply put, we need to get out of our head and into our heart. And by taking a look at how we perceive our world and learn from our mistakes, the seven deadly sins or mistakes lays a concrete foundation to removing the transgressions that stop us from ascending to the next level or staying in that level. Okay. All right. So here we go. Pride. So pride is excessive belief in one's own abilities that interferes with the individual's recognition of the grace of God or source or whomever big person that you believe in. It has been called the sin from which all other arise. So pride spills over, just like the same thing when I did the childhood wounds. We found out a lot of those childhood wounds had affected and branched out into other wounds. So pride is also known as vanity. I'm just going over the simple definition of it. Pride is considered on almost every list the original and most serious of the seven deadly sins. Okay, and out of the seven, it is the most what people consider to be more is angelical or is demonic, which means when we state that again, pride has its good and bad side. That's just like everything that's out there. It has two sides, like two sides of the coin. Pride is good because, again, it's like you say, I'm taking pride of what I'm doing. Maybe we had some low self-esteem, and you taking pride in what you're doing is helping building your esteem. Okay, it's good. But when you got pride until it slides over into the ego thing, where it's edging out everything else, that is when it becomes like, okay, look at me and look at you. My stuff is this, is flawless, like Beyonce, and your stuff is like, not so much. You know, I'm sorry for you. You know, you could maybe did a little better. You know, and so that's when we got that kind of sliding scale of pride there. That's when we're talking in the worldly. That's when it's wrong. Okay. Okay. So spiritual pride. We're looking at it from the spiritual perspective. Of being divine pride or spiritual pride is one of the most harmful sins to your faith. Separating yourself from source or the belief that you are separated from your twin or you are better than your twin. We've all failed in that. Well, he got some problems, but I ain't got the same problems as my twin. Thank God, you know. He let everybody talk to him that way, but I don't let them talk to me that way. Thank God. So again, that's a little bit of when you start kind of putting them on this way or the opposite, or they're better than me, or they think much better than me. This is where a little bit, again, for the twin flame aspect, is where that pride is sliding in that we don't know involuntarily. So, you are better than your twin because of negative conditions, beliefs, addictions. He's got sex addict. I'm not. I don't drink. He drank. That now we kind of slide scale. Now that might be true, but it when you're saying it. You're saying I'm better. I'm doing better. Thank God I ain't. I'm doing better than him, and that kind of puts or her. That puts that separation energy into the mix of the connection. So in society, we are applauded for being independent, self-starters, self-reliant, self-sustaining spiritually. We at times have the concept of this. I'm awakened, but twin is still asleep. Okay. Although stated in harmless ways, like I said earlier, in some cases, this is also showing pride. Okay. So pride is hard to spot, but here are some ways you can see it. Comparison. You compare yourself to others is a way to show pride. It is also can be comparing your twin. You could be comparing yourself, your twin, in the karmic situation. A comparison to other twins. Oh, I ain't doing like that. So and so got a channel and they got 15K subscribers. Look at me, I only got 4. That would be a way that's a pride being interjected in there. Or even other journeys. Oh, Lord, so-and-so, they can talk to they person every day. Dang, I wish I could talk to my twin. That ain't happening for me. I sure wish it would happen. So that again, pride is slipping in. To compare yourself to others takes away from you concentrating on your own growth and truly seeing how you are blessed on your own journey. Comparing can kill your vibrations and lower energy. Now you talk about don't kill my vibe, you killing your own vibe. So comparing can lead to envy, which is another sin you're connecting to. So we don't want that to happen. So another way to spot pride is defensiveness. Is one way we deal with making mistakes. Most of us become defensive and irritated. This is one coping skill we use or go to when accused. Pride doesn't. No, I ain't envious. No, I'm glad that my twin is doing that, or I'm glad that she talking to her twin. Although I don't talk to my twin, but hey, I want to be like her when I grow up. Now they say when people use that means that's you kind of throwing shade, or you side dishing that person on the side. Okay. And so, right. And so, you doing a great injustice by doing that. So sometimes even as leaders, and I'm talking to clients, that pride kicks in. They defensive. Oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't think you really hearing what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but you're defending and coming up with all these daggone excuses why you're not going to put in the so-called work or try to connect with yourself. So yeah, that's pride. Okay. If I'm telling you that, and maybe other people has told you that maybe that's something that you maybe need to investigate in, because we're trying to tell you, it depends on the person, and that we're trying to tell you so you can be able to get your soul's growth and go on to the next level. Okay, so that's pride. And when I seen that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's snuck in a couple of times here and there. In the beginning of Twin Flame Journey, we start looking eternally for the answers for what is going on. And we do. And so in doing that, we start comparing. The reader that we're watching on YouTube start saying X, Y, Z. Well, I ain't had that experience. You hear other twin flames sharing on the side in the Sunshine Lounge. Oh, that ain't happening to me. Or if you're talking and you're in different groups and you hear, or you just chatting it up with your bestie or whatever. Subconscious, it creeps in. Yeah, oh, that ain't happening to me. I see it's happening for you. Or what I'm doing. Maybe I ain't prayed enough. Maybe I missed too many meditations. Maybe it's something that I'm not doing. And you are, like they say, you're doing everything you're supposed to for you on this journey. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Okay. So another thing to spot is self-obsession is another aspect of pride. Let's get really honest. How much of your day, is spent thinking about you, what you want, what you don't have, what you need to be happy? The problem with self-obsession is it doesn't leave room for anyone else. This goes for the journey as well. Many times we put our twin in another category and expect them not to meet our needs and concentrate on how they are not meeting our needs. He could do better. He could communicate more. I don't understand it. It's really easy. He really could get rid of the karma. I don't know why he got me in this third party situation. So defining what makes us happy and how they are not trying to make us happy, to focusing on what they don't have, and then it becomes like a never ending cycle. Again, this makes one to be in their head a lot. So that's, again, self-obsession about the situation, how you are in the situation. And so you're edging God out. Okay, that's ego, which opens the door for pride. Okay, so some of the chakras in which that's connected to pride is the positive qualities of the sacral chakra includes joy, faith, self-confidence, and energy. The negative attributes, however, are anger, hatred, jealousy, cruelty, desire, and pride. So that's also can be connected to it. But I went another way, and I kind of concentrated on the solar plexus too, because I know that to be more of ego. So the third chakra is the solar plexus chakra, and it's said to be the core of our ego, identity, and personality. It is situated between the navel and our solar plexus, making it the center of our willpower, while the sacral chakra seeks enjoyment and pleasure, and this chakra gives us the perception of who we are. So they kind of working together in tandem. The color associated with solar plexus, I know we all know, but just reviewing again, chakra is yellow. This chakra is location. Chakra's location is where our self-esteem is defined. When this chakra is misaligned, our personal power is difficult to obtain and maintain. The solar plexus chakra gives us the ability to sense our personal power so that we are confident and responsible, making us reliable. This is the center of our self-discipline, self-esteem, willpower. It is where our energy to transform apathy into action. The movement comes from this chakra. We can meet the challenges that come to us and move forward with our lives. The third chakra main challenge is to balance our personal power to get the most from it for one's personality's warmth comes from. This could be related to the Manipura or the Vishuddha and the Sahasrara chakra. With an excessive Manipura chakra, one may feel overly proud of their power and status. This may exhibit itself in bullying, which could be due to physical or intellectual prowess. Yes, there are intellectual bullies too, who use their intellect to upshow others and make them feel bad. Well, we've all run into that. Like bosses have been like that. People that brown nose on the job has pretty much shown up like that. And what I think of when I'm reading that too as well is we pretty much label them as narcissists. Okay, personality disorder. We got all of that. Right. And so thank you. And so all of those things right there fall into where pride is. Okay. Next thing, yes, please like, share. Do I have that on me? I think I do. I forgot I ain't got on this. Please make sure, let me just roll that across the thing there. Please make sure you hit click, like, share, and subscribe to this channel and get this out because, again, we're at Interesting Energies are against trying to get all this positive stuff out so people cannot know about other things. Everybody's getting fed on YouTube and social media about the union's not going to work. You ain't going to get into union. You got all those negative things. I'm one voice that I know of, and there's probably many of us, but the ones that are talking like I am are not getting the push out there in YouTube land. So when I am asking you not on the behalf of me, but anybody else that you watch that's bringing out this positive stuff, please make sure that you are liking and sharing. Rather you agree with what I'm saying, it's like I'm giving you a thumbs up to say, hey, you got the courage to go out there to bring something different out there. I'm behind you 100%, sister. Rather you agree with it or not. Okay. All right. So let's talk about balanced solar plexus. A balanced solar plexus chakra makes it easy to find balance between your personal power and harmonious relationships with others. On the other hand, when your third chakra is imbalanced, it could undermine your self-esteem and social life. So this singes that the hinges, I think I want to say, that the whole solar plexus chakra is out of balance, where you feel stressed, you can't sleep, you feel aggression, you have uncontrolled emotions. All of those things are also falling underneath where we need to go and balance this chakra. So here are some ways. Now, when we're in class, we're going to go more in depth into it, and I'm going to tell you about what essential oils that you could have for it to unblock the solar plexus, the third chakra as well. But this is overall, because if you say, hey, I can't get into the class, I'm giving you what I can hear, and you can kind of go on and do research yourself to see. So in some ways, you got to watch your diet. One thing they were saying about that is to maybe eat yellow foods, bananas, pineapples. That helps to kind of feed. It's like, oh, I'm eating my good energies to empower my solar plexus. Wear the color yellow. Okay, that helps to kind of bring that up too as well. You wearing the color yellow, that's helping you too. And then you got gemstones that are yellow, citrine and all those things. Meditations that's out there as well. We have also yoga. You got certain positions that are specific to that too. And then you got affirmations that you can be saying to yourself daily that help you to empower your solar plexus, and chanting too. Okay. Oh, the word banana's been coming up a lot. Okay. Banana, banana, banana. Yes. So that's what they're saying. So if that's coming up. And sometimes, if you're kind of attracted to a certain food like that, some of the reasons is that, okay, maybe you find yourself like, I'm eating a lot of orange color food. It's a reason behind that. Okay, so 4 ways to deal with pride. So give people permission to point out pride in your life. So don't be like, nah, I'm all right. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Pride deceives the mind. Okay, it blinds you. It makes you think everything is going great. However, when your pride is unclear to you, it's usually painfully clear to the people around you that something ain't right. And we need to kind of give you a 2-finger tap or tug you by your coattail and say, can I talk to you for a second? Allow them to point out the pride in your life without fear or anger or your part. Now, I know a lot of us in the early parts of the journey, that's a little kind of hard, at that time, because you're kind of defensive. Again, that's your pride or your ego out of whack or out of sync. But, as you go along the journey and more times you get hit upside the head, after a while you become very humble. And then you're like, you know what, maybe I need to start listening. That's rather to readers or somebody who you really trust on your journey, or a trusted friend, or even somebody that's a twin flame that's even maybe in the mental areas as well, like Stephanie or even Sean. They can really be able to help you to say with that twin flame twist, or somebody, a trusted therapist too as well. Focus more on source than you do on yourself. Okay. When pride is pointed out, our first reaction can be introspection. The problem with this is that it keeps you self-focused, which is exactly what fuels your pride. So instead of spending time in introspection, spend time reading, meditating, and what things are going right and how source has been there for you. You can adopt a correct view of your situation. I found myself here lately been doing that too as well. When you have a distorted view of who you are, or your twins or source, one allows for ego to get the best of you. So in addition, some think too highly of oneself and less of one's twin, and focus more on how they're progressing further than one's twin. That goes what? Leads us back to pride, because again, there goes that unequal distribution where I'm higher, they're lower. That's not sane. Okay. Revise your false beliefs. As divines, your job is to bring the love and light to yourselves and your journey. Yet pride is the single greatest obstacle to loving people. Some things you can reflect on is, do you think you are better than others? How about your twin? Do you think you are indispensable? How about to your twins karmic? Do you think that you're better than your twins karmic? Do you think that your accomplishments and positions entitle you to special favors? So I'll break this down. I had a client, and she was telling me that her person that she had wasn't doing right and wasn't getting out the karmic situation. And she was like, well, because I'm the divine feminine energies, and the divine feminine energies leads the way, that I should be able, through our connection, to make her not to want the person, the karmic. I'm like, okay. And we argued back and forth about that. And it was adamant about it. Like, no, because I'm the divine feminine, I have to say so. I lead, I tell. And so they were going to do what I say, my counterpart. And so, that's another way how you could do that. I know early in the journey, I wouldn't say that's you, but early in the journey, a lot of us had been really thinking that because we are the divine feminines, which is the lead, that we are the ones that can manipulate and change things on our end. Not so. Okay. So how about the struggles to your journey? That kind of brings you pride too about that too. Maybe sometimes you might hear from other people, oh, I ain't bad as them. Thank God. If you're in communications, other people's not, you got to kind of check your pride there, because a lot of times say, ooh, at least I get talked about every day. Ooh, sorry for you. And you got to kind of watch that. Sometimes it kind of slips in without you knowing, you slide into pride. Okay. So another thing is prayer. Prayer is a posture of humility towards source. When pride is knocking at your door, answer it with prayer. Ask your angels, your spiritual team, your guides. Humble yourself. Ask them to search your heart and reveal where you have let pride take over, and ask them what to do, and sources help you to destroy the grip of pride in your life. I'll fix that. Okay. And remember, when life teaches you a lesson in humility, remember it. Why you're not getting off? Thank you. Remember it. Wait. A lesson remembered is a lesson that doesn't need to be retaught. Let me go back to that, because that's a good one. When life teaches you a lesson in humility, remember it. A lesson remembered is a lesson that doesn't need to be retaught. Take those lessons and apply them to your lives regularly. So pride can be linked back to the father womb. This knocked me off my socks when I got to this. I like, excuse me? So we all come into the world helpless, dependent, and needing a substance to be treated as worthy and to be blessed. The father wound is the absence of this love from your birth father. The wound can be caused by neglect, I am unimportant, absence, divorce, separation, death, abuse, mental, physical, sexual, spiritual control, oppressive domination, withholding, love, blessings, affirmations, deficiencies that lead to a profound lack of self-acceptance. So the effect of a father wound. The effect of a father wound is low self-esteem, deep emotional pain inside, and a performance orientation that makes us doers rather than beings. So people pleasing, I got to make up for this one, and that goes back to that pride. And see, that's how pride gets introduced to that, because you perform and also pride attention. Look at what I have. I got a Maserati. I got this. I look at the house, got six rooms, 5 bathrooms, all this stuff. Or look at me, I'm with the twin. You complaining about you not with your twin. Oh, well, sorry, but not sorry. Things of that nature. So we tend to have 4 barriers that inhibit the healing of this wound. Pride, not willing to confront or change. I'm all right. Not aligning with divinity within, sin, a blocked will that neither seeks to admit one's part in the transgression or receive forgiveness. The wound itself, continuous emotional hurt inside, lies, misconceptions about the self, birth father and father God or source. So relationships, when we hold relationships, that's right, to our birth father, when we hold a conception of our birth father as angry, violent, uncaring, indifferent, distant, withdrawn, absent, abandoned, alcoholic, condemning, or critical, we tend to believe the following words about ourselves: I am unworthy, I am stupid, I am incompetent, I am unloved and unlovable. Cancel, 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 cancel. All that stuff in the universe, because that's not who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about me. I'm just using an example. Just want to cancel that. Right. Start your day with gratitude and ask to keep your pride in check. Yes, I am in agreement with that. Oh, yes, star fruit. I didn't think about that. Okay, relationships with source. Now, this father wound also goes over it with your relationship with source. You know, I would even admit with myself, it was a while there that source and I had like a disconnect. I would ask for something, stuff wouldn't appear. And I was like, what's going on here? And, you know, some of us, it might be that, you know, and a lot of times our counterparts, I know even with my DM, sometimes I think he don't have too much invested stock in faith that when he prays for stuff, God is going to listen and make it manifest. And he does suffer from a father wound. So relationship with source, often people mimic the relationship with their birth fathers as the same relationship with source. So this is at time contaminates the pure unconditional love that we have for our divine and as a personal intimate connection. When we have misconceptions of God, we tend to believe I am not good enough, I am guilty, I'm shameful, I must work harder to justify myself. So were you hurt by your father physically or spiritually? Fathers tend to have a way of damaging confidence when power is involved, such as an emotional wound can severely damage one's self-image. As a result, this affects the areas of one's pride. Your father's actions can affect your adult relationships by damaging trust, making friendships or romance difficult. And your father's actions can have an effect on your spiritual or religious life, or especially if your religion includes the image of a God as a father. Okay. So 8 questions to ask. So listen to these questions and see, do you say yes to it? Without dwelling on it, name the injustice or the pattern of injustice that you experience. You can forgive someone for a general trend of unfairness when there are too many individual incidents to count. How hurtful was this act or series of acts by your father? Do you think that what you experienced with your father has negatively affected your inner world? A first step is to get to know your father more deeply. What was his childhood like? And I'll say that because even my father, we got together at the end. We was bumpy in the beginning, like that Cancer claw was gripping on me, and that Aries ram, I was ramming his little crab body all over the place, our signs. Then we got it together that we kind of understood each other, you know. And so I had to know his, and a lot of times even when I'm talking to mom, I'm like, okay, we got to understand dad's background, you know, how he is. Let me put myself into his shoes. Once I was able to do that, I was able to, again, create that less of that, not that separatism or us not being on even playing fields. I was able to understand him more, and it was less of a strife or us kind of conflicting with each other by me putting myself into my father's shoes. That's a lot of times we don't practice empathy so we can really understand them, and kind of sometimes some of that stuff that we let bother us, we can have the ability to let it roll off of our backs if we like, okay, I know why he did that, because, you know, I know why he bought 50 million things of the same kind of thing, because again, his background of growing up being poor and not having enough. So, you know, although when he moved in on me, I had junk all over the place in one area, and I was like, dude, this don't work. I can't have this over here. But then I had to think in my mind, okay, now why is he a person that's like a hoarder and collecting these things, you know? Okay, because when he was a child, he didn't have, you know. So we got to find some kind of way where we can compromise on this. So it's not going to irritate me. I'm not traumatizing you because you're back at some kind of way of nostalgia about in the past, especially you getting older. So we got to have a meeting of minds. So that's another way, again, how you just kind of ask yourself, where's my father coming from? Was he mistreated? Was he bullied, your dad? Was he wounded? Okay. Try to know more deeply your father's adolescence. Did he feel like a failure at all? I could say, yeah, some things, yes. How might that wound being unhealed be a part of his interactions with you? You know, and some of the things I say, the interaction with that is that, you know, a lot of times he made sure that I had what he made sure it was a positive to me because he would always make sure that I had what I needed. Rarely, I said on one hand, I got five times he said no to me. Okay, so that worked in my favor. So I can't say about that way. But him being able to communicate with females, I think he didn't have really, as growing up, a healthy dialogue with his mom. It was always a power dynamic there, a struggle. You know, I said it because I said so, because he grew up in that era where that's what was said all the time. You know, I said it because I said so, and that's it. Don't talk to me no more. Don't ask no more questions. And that's it. So that didn't make him grow up to be a great communicator. Plus, that dynamic rolled into our relationship because a lot of times he had kind of like the attitude, see but unseen, but he would kind of fight against it. Towards the end, he's like, that philosophy ain't gonna work with me because she talks a lot and I could tell she's pulling me in to her life. And so in order for me to have a really healthy dynamic or relationship with Bertina, I'm going to have to let that go because it's getting lost in the shuffle. So that's one example of how the wound can play a part because of what was happening in his childhood. His communication also played a part in our relationship. What was his early adulthood like? Who might have been cruel to him, hardening his heart? So I know with my dad got married early. He had a child early. He was in high school. So again, the dynamics of understanding marriage and connecting with people in relationships in a healthy way did harden. He had a couple of marriages along the way. One of them that took advantage of him money-wise. I would say she was financial bully, abusive. And so again, that kind of hardened him. So when mom came along, it was kind of interesting struggle about when it came to them finances for her to say, hey, I'm not your last person. I'm not your last wife. I'm different. See me different. So that kind of hardened him. And the daughter was doing that. My half sister was stealing and doing things. So he looked at me crazy and side eyes. So again, it started a whole different dynamic. So that wound can be deep too as well. Do you think that over his entire life to this point, your father has any regrets down deep inside? Probably so. Shame or guilt, feelings of inadequacy? Yes. Do you see that your father is more than his specific behaviors or insensitivity towards you? Can you see someone who might be more unsure than strong inside? Someone who never got the chance to heal those wounds? Who is your father? Who are you as a wounded person who has the courage to look at your father's wounds and your own wounds? Okay, and then I gave you more details about that. Okay. So you are more than your wounds. You are more than the father wounds you have suffered. Your father is more than the wounding behaviors he gave to you. You both share being wounded. It's my hope that both of you can share in healing. Now, the laminar flow. Laminar flow, this aspect of pride keeps you in divine feminine energies. I'm gonna tell you why. This is controversial. However, this energy of pride is one in which individuals have to learn how to have a healthy divine feminine energies to stay in the flow. My guides, I'm channeling and typing at the same time. I'll fix it. My guide states that when experiencing this, one has to look at the environment and how things are showing up to them in the material by staying in this energy. Is this really feeding their spirit by looking at all the wealth or material things they have accumulated? Yes, it would be easy for one to see it as divine masculine energy. However, this is a sign of an undeveloped divine feminine energy. And in order to get in the flow, one has to learn to be present and just be. Okay. So that's how you get into. I talked about the laminar flow and how you can be. So you got to work with your the divine feminine energies and making it more healthy, because it's a state of being. It might want to kind of jerk you into the divine masculine energies, but this is something. In order for it to be healthy, you need to stay in your divine feminine energies in this. Okay. That is the end. Oh, it got 10 minutes. Most of the time I'm kind of talky, walky, but this time that is, where's my thing? I could go to B. Here we, okay, there we go. All right, I'm back. So that is the end of that class. I did it in 50 minutes, so that's good. And so if you're interested in knowing some more about that, I was really shocked about that father wound, how it's linked to pride. But I can see how that could really has happened and how that could occur too as well. So remember that if you're interested in getting into the course, please make sure that you go to Divine Unisouls 11.co to go and register for the class. Like I said, I'm going to do it for 50. The next class, when we meet together, we go back into pride just a little bit. I'm going to talk about this next Sunday. I'm going to talk about a little bit, review pride, and go more in depth about how you can use those things to help you get and work with your third chakra. And then I'm going to go into envy, because pride and envy kind of dovetails into each other, and then show you how it's showing up. It's the same thing, how it's showing up into your twin flame connection, how it's showing up in your childhood wounds, how it's showing it, stopping you from being in flow, what it actually means, how it's showing up, how we can deal with it daily. So all of those good things that we have to deal with in this twin flame journey. So make sure you go over to divineunisouls.co, go to my community board as well. I've got the code there as too. Let me see if I can put it in the chat real quick for you all, so you all can have it. So it'll be $50. Let me see. I know I have it. Hold it. Let me see. Where is it? Okay. All right. I'm going to put it right here in the chat for you. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat. It's MT8MS4. Okay. I think I did it right. MT8. Yeah. Okay. That is the code to use it to join for it. Like I say, it's going to be on Zoom. That way I like it better, because then I can get interactions. I can look at you all's faces to tell, like, okay, I got that. No, that don't feel, I'm a little still puzzled back, because I'm a teacher. How long is it till 12:15? Yeah, to 12:15. And so I can look at your faces. I'm a teacher. I can tell by energies, like, they didn't get that. I need to kind of go back into that. And in the end, we can be able to really dialogue and talk about it and say how I see it. I'm going to be honest. When you said about that father, I seen same story that you told about your dad. I see how it's affected me in X, Y, and Z. So that would, again, be a reason why I like doing it on Zoom. Once you all register for that, then I'll send you via email the link to the class. So again, like I said, it's going to be to 12:15. It'll be it's $50 right now, and then after that it's going to jump up into because I said that Spirit might say take 77 into the weekend, and then after that to the first class, and then I'm gonna jump it up to 124. I'm gonna push it back just a little bit for that one. So I might let it ride with 77 until next Sunday. But 15th is it. 15 is going to be $50 cut off for that. So I get time for people to see this, see about being sold about this, say I want to be a part of it, because each one it comes up. I mean, because to me, these things are sneaky. You just didn't know that underlying involuntarily that you're committing these sins or missing the mark simply by you just thinking these things. And you're like, again, like I said, the disadvantage of the twin and yourself. the father wound is playing a part, and that's stopping you from getting out of that pride, the unbeknownst you don't know, and it's blocking your chakras because of the usage of pride. So um, that's really I'm very excited to do this course. I'm very excited to lead you all through this as we travel through all the seven chakras as well. So I welcome you. I look forward to seeing you all in the class. And at the end, you'll get all the presentations that I have there. That's why I like to do it. And then I can go back in there and edit because I type so fast in the channels. I've seen some of the things. So I want to tweak some things, add some things. And at the end of the course at 1:30, you'll get the presentation slides and you get all of the recordings from our sessions too as well. And so that's why at the end, if you catch me at the end when it's over and you hear all these people talking about the great things that we did in the class, it's going to be higher. So you need to jump right on in and while we in it and be a part of this great things, because sources already said the more twin flames gather together, healing is going to be in there, and it's going to create breakthroughs by us coming together. So it would, again, that would be to your best benefit if you want to create that breakthrough that you haven't gotten. Come on and join this class. $50 you came to 7 weeks. There's no course out there you can do $50 for a 7-week class out there at all. Okay. All right, there you are. It is 56, but I'm going to stop right there because I think that is it. I'll just give you a snippet, a little choo-choo, and that gives me understand how long it takes me for each course. So it'll be an hour for talking and an hour for Q&A, and it'll be on Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Central Time. So if this is a good time for you, and if you're not there and you say, hey, for some reason you got to be absent, the recordings will always be there. Just hit me up and I'll tell you to email me and I can send you the recordings to you as well. For those who are in the class, let me edit that. For those who are in the class, you'll get your recordings. I'll send you that in 24 hours. But for everybody else that's buying it at the end or whatever later on, you'll get all those recordings towards the end. Okay. All right. There, as always, thank you so very much. Thank you, April Williams, Kathy D, me, Lauren, Benita, all my people that was here to see me. Okay. And Steffi as well. Mwah. Love you. All right there. Who is this? It's going to be good. So as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste. Namago. Love you. And I will see you in class. All right then. Bye.